Giving life and taking a life are both extreme choices that have to be made every day in this country. There are two very different stances on abortion, and this continues to be a very controversial topic for our country. I understand that this is a very touchy subject because of all the emotional and or physical trauma that comes along with this choice. Some pros for keeping abortion legal range from rape victims and or minors not having to go through unwanted pregnancies. Also, this being the only option for some, whether for financial and or other personal reasons. And technology disease detection. Some cons to keeping abortion legal range from psychological stress, high abortion costs, and some people using this as a form of birth control. Because of the fact that there will never be 100% agreement on this topic, the topic will never go away. And for this reason, I feel that people should be educated on both sides of the stance. Pros for keeping abortion legal are rape victims and or minors won't have to carry their offender's baby to term. As a male, obviously I'm not able to become pregnant, but I cannot fathom the thought of being sexually assaulted, becoming pregnant as a result, and being forced to carry that baby to term. Because of things like this can result in the mother either abusing and or neglecting that child. Imagine being forced to have that child and looking at it every day and possibly thinking about your offender every time you see your child. Obviously, this is where the situation becomes very difficult. Being sexually assaulted is already traumatizing enough. Another pro to keeping abortion legal would be abortion may be the only option for some. What I mean by this is either financially or emotionally. I'll give you an example. Say a couple both lost their jobs and are barely able to afford food for themselves and pay rent on their own. Imagine throwing a kid into this mix and being able to provide for it. Obviously, this would be very hard. Emotionally, what if a couple is not ready and never planned to become pregnant and are immature or for other reasons? This could also jeopardize someone's future. Say they had a specific path that they wanted to be on in life and becoming pregnant was not a part of their plan. This could obviously throw a wrench in their life plan. Abortion being legal gives the woman the decision to possibly have a baby at a different date. Another pro to having abortion be legal would be technology nowadays. Technology can show a parent possible disease and or ailments that could have the child suffer for their lives. This could prevent life-threatening suffering for a kid, which is obviously a good thing. Also, parents want to become attached to their child. Imagine having to be forced to have the child and the baby has a severe disease and won't have a long life expectancy. Having to become close to that kid only for it to die would be very traumatizing. So the pros to keeping abortion legal are giving the rape victim and or minor a choice on if they want to carry the baby, women being able to have a stable life if they weren't ready to have a child, and saving a child from possible life of suffering and or neglect. While these are all good pros to abortion, there are equally as many cons. Cons for keeping abortion legal range from psychological stress on the mother. Obviously, this is a very hard decision to make, and you might possibly have to deal with these decisions for the rest of your life. Also, high abortion costs and people abusing the right to abort. Psychological stress can be aborting a child is not easy, an easy decision. According to theprosandcons.com, 31% of women who had abortions later on regretted their decision. Also, intense psychological pain can be a result of abortions. You can possibly live with this for the rest of your life, feeling guilty or having regrets. Another con to keeping abortion legal would be abortions not being cheap. Some insurance companies will cover abortions depending on the situation, but most of the time they only cover it if it's in cases of incest, rape, or if the woman's life is in danger. Another con to abortion would be keeping abortion legal would be some people aren't able to afford it or aren't emotionally ready. If someone's not ready to have a child and are forced to carry that child and don't want to, this may result in someone seeking illegal and or unsafe abortions, which is obviously not a good choice. Another con to abortion would be someone using this as a form of birth control. Say a younger couple is not educated on contraception and they become pregnant and ultimately terminate the baby. If they don't learn from their mistake the first time, they could possibly do this another time in the future. According to theprosandcons.com, since 2009, contraception services have dropped 12%. The decision to have or not to have an abortion is probably one of the biggest decisions someone will ever make in their life. Wanting to give your child the life they deserve, but not having the stability and or financial means to do so, not having a child suffer, not having a mother having to have a child when they don't want it, and the ability to prevent lifelong suffering are all pros of abortion. Psychologically, not being able to handle having an abortion, high cost of abortion, and not giving people who can't have the biological children they've always wanted a chance to adopt are all cons of abortion. Americans have the freedom of speech, religion, and are able to vote for whoever they want as president, and many other freedoms. With all these important freedoms, should a woman's right to abortion be one of them?